Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For today's class, we are going to have the second part in data description, which is the measures of position. So what is measures of position? It is where the particular data set would rank and where your data value falls with respect to the mean. We are going to have for calculation, which is the first one is the standard score. So standard score represent distance between the data value and the mean in terms of the standard deviation. Meaning that when you have the values of the standard score, so from that value, you know where is the position of the data. So this is the formula, which is you have the z-score equal to x, which is your data, minus x bar, your mean, over by s, which is your standard deviation. So if you plug in the value into this formula, if your z value is positive, meaning that your data is above the mean value. Or if you have the negative of the z value, the data value is below the mean. Okay, look at this example. For a data set, we are having 5 row data. And then the mean is given 75 and the standard deviation is 7.9. And then question asks, find the z-score for the data value 83. So 83 fall in which position? That is the question. So you are having the z-score value. So just substitute into the formula where you have the x is the 83, which is what the question wants you to have. 83 minus by 75, which is your mean, over by 7.9, which is your standard deviation. So you have the answer is equal to 1.012, which is positive. Positive means you know this value is above the mean value. Meaning that if you have the standard score positive, your position of the row data tu is above the mean. Okay, look at example number 2. Test marks for 3 students are shown here. Manal scored 65 marks for mathematics. This is the Manal column. Maths is 65 and 75 marks for biology. So just referring to the Manal column, we are having 2 subjects here. And then the question asks, on which test did she perform better? So if you look at roughly marks of the maths and biology that Manal got, Manal scored biology 75, which is more compared to mathematics, which is 65. So on roughly speaking, we can say that Manal scored better in biology compared to maths. Okay, what happen if you calculate the standard score? Okay, let's say we calculate the standard score for maths first. We have this formula, x minus x bar over by s. So your x is 65. So just plug in the value, 65 minus by x bar, 53.3 over by s is 10.4. So just calculate your answer of the z-score for maths is 1.125. And then for biology, your marks for biology is 75, Manal marks, minus the x bar is also the same value, 75 divided by s is 5. So your answer will be 0. Okay. So on which test that Manal scored better? Maths or biology? So maths, the standard score is 1.125. But for biology, the standard score is 0. So you can conclude Manal actually performed better in maths compared to biology. So if you look at the Manal score just now, the mean is actually 53. And then Manal marks is more than the mean marks, which is 65. But for biology, Manal got the average mark only, which is 75. Okay, so that's how you conclude which is better, if you have the raw marks given. Okay, so this is your homework, which is on which test that Mariam performed better. So just referring to the Mariam marks, and then you calculate the Z-score for maths and for biology. Alright, the second part, we are going to learn about quartile, decile and percentile. Okay, what is these three things? Quartile comes from the word quarter, meaning that you divide the data into 4 equal parts. Quarter. Decile is you divide the data into 10 equal parts. Percentile is you divide the data into 100 equal parts. Okay, so the steps is make sure the first one you arrange the data in order, meaning that in ascending order from the lowest to the highest value. And then you have to find the location. Where is the position of your data? So let's look at the quartile first. So let's say this is your raw data, and then you divide into 4 equal parts. This is the first 25%, second, third and the last one. So if you total up this one, total will be 100%. So for quartile, you will have quartile 1 value, quartile 2 value and also quartile 3 value. Okay, this is how you find the quartile. And then we have also the calculation of interquartile range, IQR. How to find IQR? Q3 minus by Q1. Okay. For decile, the location formula is, C is the symbol of the location. Your formula will be ND over by 10. N is referring to what? Number of observation. D is referring to in which decile that the question want. For example, let's say the question asks you to find decile 1 or D1. So your D here will be equal to 1. Or find D4. So D here is 4. N is total number of raw data or total number of observation in certain question. Percentile, you have the same location formula, but D replaced by P, which is you have NP over by 100. N is number of observation, P is in which percentile that the question want you to calculate. Okay, so we are going to calculate all these three things, which is quartile, decile and percentile. For example number 3. Okay, before that, look at these two notes. If your C value, which is the location just now, is not a whole number, meaning that you are having the decimal number. After you calculate ND over 10 or NP over 100, you are having the decimal number. So make sure you round up to the next whole number. Okay. Example, let's say if you have 2.3 at the location, so round up to 3. The third data is your location of your decile or percentile. So make sure if you have decimal number, round up. But if your C is a whole number, and then you have to take average. So take average of that data plus the next data. Okay. So how to have these two, how to apply these two types of C value? Let's look at the example. Okay, example number 3, you are going to do part A. Find Q1, 2, 3 and the IQR, and also find decile 1, decile 7, percentile 20 and also percentile 85. Okay, based on the first part, part A only. So the first step is make sure if you have the raw data from the question, make sure you arrange in order first. So how to arrange in order? So from the lowest, starting from the lowest to the highest value. So the lowest here will be 3, followed by 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22. Okay. So you have how many raw data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 raw data. So the question asks to find the quartile first. Okay, how you find the quartile? First, divide the data into 2 equal parts. Meaning that you find the middle point. So the middle point is here. This is your middle value. Meaning that the first half you have 4 row data. The second half also you have 4 row data. So the middle value is actually your quartile number 2. So how to find quartile 2? What is the middle value between 18 and 19? You have 18.5. So that is your quartile number 2, 18.5. How to find quartile 1? From the first half of your row data, divide again by 2 equal parts. So you have 4 data here. So in the middle will be between 16 and 17. So that is your quartile number 1, which is 16 plus 17 divided by 2. 16.5. Okay. And then the last one, from the second half, divide again by 2 equal parts. So this is the middle point, which is your quartile number 3. So how to find quartile 3 value? Take average, 20 plus 21 divided by 2. So you have 20.5. So that's how you find the quartile. Just divide the data into half, and then the first half into half again, the second half also into half again. And question asks also the IQR. So how can you find the IQR? Q3 minus by Q1. So your Q3 is 20.5 minus Q1 is 16.5. So your IQR value will be 4. Okay, so settle quartile. Then we go for the decile. Okay, for the decile. Decile meaning that you divide the data into 10 equal parts. But you have only 8 row data. How can you divide into 10? So that's why we have to use the location formula. We want to find the position of your data. So where is the position of your data? So this is the formula just now, which is we have ND over by 10. So in this case, your N will be total number of data, which is 8. D will be what? D is, question asks to find D1. So your D will be 1 divided by 10. So 8 times 1 divided by 10 is 0.8. This is the location. So if location, just write the TH. Meaning that the location or the position only. So if you have decimal number rounding up to the next whole number, which is 1. Okay. So your position of the data is in the first data. In the first data. So your answer will be, where is your first data? Refer to the data that you have arranged in order. So this is your first data, which is 3. So the answer for decile 1 will be equal to 3. Okay, that's how you find the position for decile. Let's say, look at the second example, D7. So question us to find decile 7. So the same method, just substitute into the location formula. So N will be 8. Your D is 7 over by 10. So 8 times 7 divided by 10 is 5.6. This is the location. If you have decimal number, round up. So you are having 6. Okay, 6. The 6 data. So where is the 6 data? Fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this is your answer for decile 7. So D7 will be equal to 20. Alright, we move to the percentile. P20. So P20, just plug in into the location formula first. Your N just now is 8. Your P is depends on the question. In this case, your P will be 20. So just plug in 20 over by 100. So 8 times 20 over by 100, you have 1.6. This is the location, remember? when you have the decimal number, always rounding up. So rounding up to second. So where is your second data? 1 and 2. So this is your second data. So that is your answer for percentile number 20, which is equal to 16. Okay, the last one, P85. Your N is 8, your P is 85, and your denominator will be 100. So 8 times 85 over by 100 is 6.8. This is your location. If you have decimal number, rounding up to 7. So your 7 data, where is your 7 data? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is your answer, which is P85 is equal to 21. Okay, that's how you find all the quartile value, decile, and also percentile. Okay, for the homework, try to find all these position, Q1, 2, 3, and IQR, decile 3, and also P40. Okay, for example number 3B. Using the same example, but you try the second part, which is the test score. Okay, so try to find all this answer.